Cowboys. Good morning, Coach. How we doing?
And we're doing great. Hey, first of all, for Bobby and RJ, man, I just want to tell you guys I appreciate your grit, your toughness, your determination. I mean, hey, I got a little chest cold. You can probably hear it in my voice. And, hell, I showed up to work today. So, Sean, wherever you are listening, man, I tell you what, I hope you feel better. But, damn, thank goodness for Bobby and RJ leading the charge, man, because, man, your grit is real, guys.
Next man up isn't just a slogan, Coach. It's a philosophy. It's a practice of ours.
Hey, see, I love that. See, now we're doing things. Hey, well, what was it? Who was it? It was Pip, right? Lou Gehrig.
Wally Pip.
You know, hey, this could be the Bobby and RJ show. You know, I kind of like the ring of that. Quite honestly.
There we go. So I've always wondered this. Okay, and we're going to get into football. I promise. What happens if a coach has like something like this happen during? You throw some Imodium? What happens? I've never heard of a coach missing a game. Like, it's got to happen.
Hey, listen, we have so many trainers that they give you pills, they do things to you that just holds it in, man. And then sometimes you go in the concussion protocol tent and you just have to relieve yourself. I mean, stranger things have happened. And, hey, I heard you guys were with the first responders, man. That's so cool. Appreciate you guys doing that. And you talk about some real heroes, man. That's big time.
That's awesome. Thank you, Coach, for saying that. Brian Schottenheimer joined us here at 105 through the Fan. All right, 3 games in. Have you learned more about your team or yourself as a head coach through 3 weeks?
Oh, man, I think the answer is both, man. I think, with the team, I think, we're realizing, again, the way we're built and that we do have some resilience and we do have some fight. When you look at the Giants game, that we believe we can find ways to win close games. I think we're also learning, the things that we need to do from a communication standpoint on both sides to be better. I think we're learning, that, like you guys said, all about the ball or winning the turnover battle can't just be a slogan. Like, we have to do that, and unfortunately right now we're turning it over too many times and we're not getting the ops. And then, I'm constantly learning, man. I mean, there's things I learn, every day and every game, and whether it's, game management stuff or how to best affect, the defense when I'm calling plays and being the head coach and things like that. I'm constantly learning. So, and what I would say to you guys is, when it's all said and done and we win a Super Bowl, I think we're going to still continue to be that way. And the quest for knowledge, man, and growth should never stop in anything you do in life.
Have you had a play, not necessarily a play call, but a game management decision that you made, and then as soon as you made it, you second-guess it? Or are you hey, I made it, let's go, forget about it?
No, I mean, again, I do make decisions that way. I make decisions knowing that, hey, they're either going to work or they're not, and if they work, you'll be a hero, and if they don't work, you'll be, a goat, and that's all part of it. A goat in a bad way, not the greatest of all time. I go back to right before the half against the Giants. I just did not do a great job of communicating to Dak the situation that we're in. We have words that we use that kind of put him into a mindset, and we did not need to have the ball get left in bounds. And that's one that pops out where, again, I need to be clear with my communication to him using that code word that tells him and puts him into the mindset that he can't throw the quick out to Jake Ferguson unless he knows Fergie can get out of bounds. So, but again, like I said, you guys usually catch me in a good mood because I've just been spending the last 30 minutes doing all game management things from around the leagues with Ryan Feeder, who's our game management coordinator.
Coach, you talk about the communication, and specifically that's been a big talking point, I think, the last couple weeks about the defense. Obviously, without getting into specifics of signals and things like that, can you just walk us through what good communication should look like on defense from the time they're in the huddle getting the call to the whistle is blown at the end of the play?
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously the play call comes in from Flus or whoever the coordinator is around the league, and there's a green dot. Each team has a green dot that's allowed to make the call. You actually have guys that have multiple guys that can potentially do it based on your package that you have for personnel groupings. But the guys come into the huddle, the play call is made, whatever the wording is. But what's so critical about communication on defense, guys, is that the call, I'm just going to use a random one. It's not even one of ours. Let's just go base cover 3. Well, base cover 3 is going to play a lot of different ways based on the formation sets that the offense brings. And our league right now is all about shifts and motions and change of strengths and, the challenges that we create. So base cover 3 versus pro formation, which really nobody runs a whole lot of anymore, looks very different than it does in slot or versus one-back slot or versus 4 open where there's no tight end in line and there's 2 guys to the right, offensive players to the right, 2 guys to the left, and there's no tight end line. So if you do not have players that are communicating and sharing information, then therefore you are at a disadvantage. And we've had that at times at a very high level. And then we've had that at times at not a very high level. And so one of the things that I love that we've done this week is in our meetings, we've had basically everybody but the D-line in there. So linebackers are in there. I'm in there. Coaches are in there on defense. The safeties sit together in a group. The corners sit together in a group. The nickels sit together in a group. And the call comes in, and we watch the practice film, and they're making all their calls as the formation on video goes up. And why is that important? Well, it's important because if we can't communicate at a high level in a meeting room where everybody's sitting in a chair, everybody's comfortable, then how are we going to do it, on Sunday night in front of 75, 80,000 people screaming, going crazy, crowd noise and all that stuff. So I know it sounds easy, and we need to do it better. In no way, shape, or form am I saying we don't need to do it better. But it's not as easy as it seems, and that's why you have to work so hard on it. And that's why we have continued to emphasize it and make the changes that we've made in terms of making these guys have to do it at a higher level in the classroom before we ever get out to the field and do it.
Cowboys head coach Brian Schottenheimer joining us here on 105 through the Fan. We got 9 minutes into this without saying Micah Parsons' name. I think we deserve a blue ribbon for that. Coach,
Pretty good job, guys. Pretty good job.
Coach, I'm going to ask you hopefully a little bit different angle of this than you've been asked before. Your first year here, you would help with mock game plans for Dan Quinn, where you kind of show him, my understanding, where you show him how to attack the defense, how you would attack the defense if you were coaching the opponent that week. So when game planning for an impact player like Micah Parsons this week, does it help at all that you've already gotten kind of a year's worth of designing practice game plans for stopping Micah that first year you were here with DQ?
Yeah, I mean, look, game planning a guy like Micah or an elite player, which is not new to any week. You got, whether it's, the Giants that have 3 guys. I mean, Green Bay has a bunch of guys. Rashawn Gary's a hell of a player. Micah's a great player. Xavier McKinney is a great safety, and the backers, the team speed's amazing. I would say the awareness of the player is a positive in terms of how to game plan him. But again, how Jeff Hafley, the defense coordinator in Green Bay, is going to use them. I mean, I think they're still learning Micah. So they're going to have new wrinkles and things that maybe that DQ or Zim or Flus, might not have done with Micah. So I think that's the challenge. But that's the chess piece, and that's the chess match, I like to say, because that's what we live for. But, we all know the talent of Micah Parsons and the ability that he has is incredible. But, why they're so good is that he's not the only piece. Rashawn Gary's a damn good football player. Walker and Cooper, both inside backers, are damn good football players. And the team speed is real. And then, they got Van Ness, and I mentioned McKinney. So it's more than just one player. But getting back to your original question, I think the awareness of understanding Micah a little bit helps. But they're going to use them different ways, and that's where we have to be ready to adjust on game day.
Hey, Coach, you had gotten a lot of questions the first couple weeks about Mazi Smith and Jaydon Blue being active, both of them. Mazi Smith was active in week 3. Jaydon Blue was still inactive on the shelf. What progress have you seen from Mazi that you're still looking for from Jaydon to be active on game day?
Well, I'm going to say this about Jaydon. Jaydon's actually put together a couple really good weeks of practice. We challenged him. We talked to him about consistency, working harder on the scout team and things like that. Man, and shoot, hey, give him credit. He's been terrific. Unfortunately, we've been a little bit heavier on the defensive side when you look at the roster construction on game day. It's usually, I think it's been like 23, 21, and then we've got the 4 specialists with CJ, and so we've been a little bit higher on the defensive side of the ball. So, again, in no way, shape, or form is Jaydon doing things that would not allow him to be activated. It's been more of the fact that we've needed the numbers with some of the injuries and stuff on defense and in the secondary and things like that. And then in terms of Mazi, man, like, here's a guy, we sat him down and we just like with Jaydon, told him, hey, here's where you are. Here's why you're inactive. It's nothing that's going to last forever, but you have to do your part. And I think he's done that. And, we see him learning to play the attack front better. Like, let's remember, I mean, we're 3 weeks into, learning this new defense and trying to get everybody on the same page with it. And, it's different for Mazi, and Mazi missed quite a bit of time during the offseason program. And so I do think that both those players that you mentioned are doing everything in their power because they want to be out there with their teammates and they want to do what they love, which is to play football in the National Football League and to run and hit and do things like that. So a lot of times when guys are made active or inactive, it's because of things outside of their control. And I think it's a great question. It's the first time I've said it's a great question because it is a great question because you're trying to educate people. And if a guy's inactive, it doesn't mean he hasn't had a good week of practice or that we don't believe him. It just means that the league limits our ability to put everybody out there and you have to make some hard decisions.
Coach, what did Cleveland do defensively that really kind of handcuffed Green Bay last week?
On the defense side of the ball?
Yeah, like what did Cleveland do defensively against Green Bay?
Yeah, again, I think what they did a really good job of not giving up big plays. Again, it's Captain Obvious there. I do think that they did a nice job stopping the run. This is a really good run team coming in here. Jacobs is a hell of a back, and they do a really good job with shifts and motions. But those are the two things that I would say is you can limit a team like that's got speed with Matthew Golden and quarterback and Jordan Love that's really good at, distributing the ball around. So not giving up explosives. Anytime you hold a team to, 10 points like that, it's really impressive. And but I will say, they tried to make them one-dimensional. And, again, I think that they did a nice job with that. And, it's like I felt it last week in the fourth quarter. We were running the hell out of the football, guys, and, it just got to the point where we felt like we had to go, and we were down 17 going into the fourth quarter. And it's like when you become one-dimensional as an offense, it's hard, and I felt like Cleveland did some good things to, put Green Bay into that mindset a little bit.
Last one for you, Coach. This is kind of a football 101 type of question. You've described guys on the team before, CeeDee Lamb recently, as great practice players. Is that just about their effort level, or are there specifics that make guys great practice players?
Effort first. The way we say it is we always critique effort first, right? We really do. We coach effort, but you really critique it because if guys aren't giving effort, that's hard for us to control, Now, we pointed out we have loafs and guys that we show examples of guys really running great to the ball, but it's more than that for sure. It's the intentionality. It's a guy that when he comes out to practice, you see he's ready to work. You see that when he's not involved in special teams, he's doing something to get better. He's on the jugs. He's working release drills. If he's a defensive lineman, he's working pass rush drills, whether with his coach or on his own. And then there's a guy that also, when you see the play start and you see there's communication with his teammates. And then, every practice that we have, we've got these basically these tablets out there that have the plays. So let's say we get done with a 5-play rack on defense. And the 5 plays are over and there's going to be mistakes. That's why you practice. Well, the great practice players like Solomon Thomas and those guys, we have multiple guys, Kenny Clark, Malik Hooker, guys like that. They're going to go and grab that iPad and they're going to look at the reps because they want the corrections to be made immediately in their mind. That way, when they come in the film session with the coaches that afternoon, when the coach puts the film, like what I love is I remember this with Andrew Luck. Like we'd go practice, we'd come in, and then literally be like play 5 of 7 on 7 or something, and we'd start to read the comment. Be like, okay, hey, we're in gun truck right there. And he'd be like, yep, hey, I missed the backside safety. He was leaning to the front side. I should have given T.Y. Hilton the backside slant because it was 4 press, and I knew the safety was cheating up over the top. And you're like, okay, this guy's already seen the practice film. So it makes your ability to coach him a lot easier.
Hey, Coach, we really appreciate it. Great stuff. Thanks for taking that dig at Shan, and we'll try to get him back, toughen it out next week.
Yeah, I'm really worried about him, guys. Make sure you get to my assistant. Make sure I like send some flowers, maybe, and maybe some nothing bundt cake or something like that.
There we go.
And a little lemon.
Hey, lemon cake. But hey, seriously,
There you go.
guys, man. Enjoy the time with the first responders, man.
Thank you so much, Coach. Brian Schottenheimer, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.